Hello everybody. You are listening to another episode of Master Random the podcast. My name is Boo Ada. I am extremely excited for this coming year, this coming decade. There's a lot of things that are unfolding, and I think it's because I'm in my 30s. I know I'm getting older, and when I was 22, I wasn't really excited for the new decade. And back in 2010, I had just left college, graduated from college, moved back home to Guam, and didn't really know what to expect. And now I feel that coming into this decade, things are much more clearer to me as to the things that I want to do, my possible purpose in this life, and the things that I need to do in order for the things that I want to do to come to life. So take all that mess, put it into a can, shake it up, open it, and spray it everywhere. Because even if it doesn't make sense, it's just things that I know are different about coming into this year rather than when I was 22 going into the 2010 decade. And so I digress. I just hope that whatever you have planned comes to full fruition. You just got to work hard. And with hard work takes a lot of hard effort. So don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on anything. Just keep pushing, even when it does suck. So that being said, this episode is brought to you by Payless One. They are your one stop for organic and natural products and education. One of the best things I love about Payless One is that EduKitchen. They have weekly courses on how you can eat better, how to improve your nutrition, but not only for yourself, but also for your kids, what kids can do on their summer break in order to eat healthier. We know that the diet here on Guam is not the best at all. I grew up off the Guam diet, which is pretty much the war ration diet, and Payless One is here to change that mentality. The EduKitchen is here to help you change your mentality of how you think about food, how you look at food, and how you eat food. They're located next to the Dededo Payless in Dededo, and they are dedicated to become your destination for organic food, home, health, and beauty products. Each item that is laid out in Payless One is handpicked by their registered dietitian, Rose Calvo, and it can't get any better than that. It's just not a bunch of items that's thrown into a cart of what people like. It's these things that are handpicked specifically to improve your lifestyle, to improve your nutrition, and to improve your health. So go shop, learn, and stay healthy at Payless One, open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily next to the Dededo Payless. That's it. That's the sponsor. And now to my next guest. I'm excited to have him on the show. Peter Quiambao. He's been on the show. I first met him through the show. And when he first came on the podcast, I want to say it's in the early 100s, but before you listen to this podcast, you should listen to the last podcast that he was on and just listen to his journey. It was about 2.5 years ago. And between that last podcast and this podcast, you can hear the evolution. You can hear the things that he wanted to become real and the reality that he ultimately faced in this podcast. So I want to talk so much about, this conversation that I had, but it's better that you hear it. But go listen to the last episode first, then listen to this episode, and you can join me in the admiration that I have for this guy, his drive and his tenacity to just keep going and keep pushing, and just the way you question what fate and destiny is, because everything that he did, it seemed like it unfolded for him, and it allowed him to put him into a position to be in the position that he is in today. So is that fate? Is that destiny? I don't know. I can't clearly explain it myself. Do you put yourself into situations by putting yourself into situation? Do you put yourself into a situation by doing things that'll lead you to that? And how do you know that the things that you're doing are going to lead you to the situation that you want to be in? Whoa, that is loaded. That is deep. But go ahead and enjoy my conversation with the original homie, Peter Quiambao. Check it out. We're ready to go. Pete, welcome back to the show. It's only been a couple years. You've been out there 2 years now?
2.5 years.
Damn,
August
went by quick.
Yeah, August 2017 is when I like moved there.
Okay.
Yeah, moved to San Francisco.
Right. And that was the last time you were on. We were just discussing like what you were planning, what we were talking about on that episode. And it was more of what you were kind of envisioning was going to happen for you.
Yeah.
Did everything pan out originally as planned, and how much did you have to like adjust along the way, or is it mostly adjusting?
Dude, all right, so context for people who don't know what happened last time.
Listen to the last episode.
Pause this. TLDR for the last episode. My name is Pete Quiambao. I was a video producer for Tropical Productions, which was a event production company here on Guam. We used to do PXE, Guam Live, cultural festivals, you name it, we did it. And I did that for like 5 years. And at some point I left the company and I had decided to go on what I called the Couch Surfing World Tour.
Right.
So what that meant was I had all these homies from all over the world who always said I could crash on their couch and just chill with them. So I connected all of them for a big trip because basically I was trying to figure out where I wanted to live next, right?
Right.
And on top of that, I just wanted to get advice from people I admired on what I should do next, where I should go next. So everywhere I went, I would go on LinkedIn, and I put a video out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, just letting everyone know what I was doing, asking people for help and connections. So my network helped introduce me to a lot of people, plus me just straight cold calling hundreds of people on LinkedIn everywhere I went. You know, anyone who had creative producer, video producer, graphic designer, anything creative in their title who worked in a company I liked, I would just cold message them. And you know, you hit up hundreds of people, 50 add you back, a couple of dozen actually talk to you, and maybe like 5 are down to meet up, but 5 is a lot.
Right.
So of all the places I went to, it was supposed to
just
be...
pull the mic up a little bit.
Got you, sir. Got you.
Yeah, you're good.
So it's like, from all the places I went to, it's like started in Asia, was supposed to go across America and end in the UK, but in San Francisco, that place was the most receptive to that method of like just trying to meet people, right? Mm-hmm. I met like video producers from Uber, a creative director for this ad agency that worked for Google, just a lot of really, really cool people that I looked up to who were like, yo, I like your hustle, I like your gumption, let's talk, let's hang out. Here's my story where it seemed like I didn't know what I was doing. I was in your position, and this is how it all panned out for me. And looking at your work and your resume and your skill set, I believe you could do it too. Yeah. And you just, you know, I think all people really, you just sort of need that outside validation from people you respect to just kind of, you know, okay, yeah, I needed that. I think I can do it.
It's almost putting the unknown into a known for you now, right? You kind of didn't, you kind of wanted to explore, but instead of just like packing everything up and just going without really knowing what you're getting yourself into, it seems like a logical plan of attack to do, right?
It was as logical as you could make it, right? I basically did just jump into the deep end and like, just let me go here, let me go there, let me see what's happening here. And you know, I think now that I'm older, there is something about like, there's just something magical about like not having a job and just not being tied down to something and kind of doing you for a little bit. Like you can't do it forever unless you can make it work, or unless you're that kind of person who can thrive in that mindset. But You know, there's just something freeing about just kind of freestyling for a little bit.
Was that the experience when you first moved to San Francisco?
Yeah, so this is the very interesting part about the journey, was that halfway through the trip, okay, I was supposed to go across the states and then go to the UK. But then I'm like, you know, things are really clicking here. Let me just save all that money and just ask my homie that I'm staying with, yo, can I just crash here and I'll pay rent? And let me give myself little deadlines, right? Let me see what I can do in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, or within the first week, I had an interview with Nintendo. And the way I got that interview was same thing like before. I just started Nintendo had a video producer position in Washington, which I probably wasn't even eligible for. But I was like, why not just try? So I hit up everyone I could find on LinkedIn who worked at Nintendo and I had connections with. And there was this like director level dude who Matt Scroll somehow knew. And
because Matt was interviewing with Nintendo for a bit.
Yeah. Actually, you're totally right. I totally forgot about that. So Matt had connected with this dude really well during the interview process, and things didn't work out, but they still had a connection. So that guy saw that I knew Matt, added me back, and said, hey, I saw your demo reel. I think you're a good fit for this position. Let me hook you up with the recruiter. And the recruiter hits me up like literally the next day, says, hey man, we got this position filled already, but you know, so-and-so vouched for you, so let's talk. And that experience right there kind of gave me two things. One, it gave me a huge boost of confidence, right? Because it's Nintendo. And I gave myself a 2-week deadline, and in a week, I had an interview with one of my dream companies. So I was like, okay, I must be doing something right. And then two, it showed me that, you know, a lot of success is who you know. And I want to say that, so I gave myself a 2-week deadline. That Nintendo thing happened. And I was like, okay, give me a month. And then in a month, I made it to the final round of Bloomberg. And for those of you that don't know what Bloomberg is, I didn't know what Bloomberg was. It's a huge company based out of the East Coast that basically is the leader in, Bloomberg's gonna hate me if they ever hear this, but it's the leader in like business information, right? They create, if you ever watch a movie and stock traders have all these computer monitors on with all these graphs and stuff and blah, 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 that's a Bloomberg computer that every company has to pay a subscription to Bloomberg to have. And then on top of that, they're like the leader in like business news. But I made it to the final round of interviews there, where like I was literally shadowing a manager for the day to see what it would be like to work there. And I at that point, I'm so cocky that I'm like, yo, man, I've only been here a month. You know, I've only been here a month and I'm already at the final round of this. And I talked to Nintendo here. I'm killing this. You guys might as well just hire me, bro. You know, I was just so cocky.
Confidence through the roof.
Through the roof, bro. And you know, while I was way too overconfident, it's kind of what also got me in the door in a lot of situations, right? Because no one's going to believe in you unless you believe in yourself first.
Right.
But not getting that Bloomberg job was a huge blow to me, because I thought it was in the bag. I was literally in the door.
You're calling the guy you're shadowing bro already. I was like, yeah, bro.
Actually, here's the funny story. Bloomberg is an East Coast company, and I didn't even know what that meant. East Coast company means like they're super buttoned up, they're super professional. Ooh, is she okay?
Yeah, he spazzes out every now and then.
All good. Just make sure. So anyway, super buttoned up company, super professional. And before I had the shadowing manager phase, I had an in-person interview where I showed up in like Vans, joggers, freaking Puma windbreaker, island print shirt. And then I walk in and everyone's in suits. I'm like, I think I may have played myself here. and then, but I charmed them so well in the interview, they still brought me back. But it was funny because the hiring manager, she was such a badass. She was like imagine like a local news producer who started off in a small town in Australia, made it up to Sydney, started working in Hong Kong, like a major news network in Hong Kong, and then started working for Bloomberg Hong Kong, and then got switched over to Bloomberg San Francisco.
Okay.
Like that's her career in like 10 years.
Right.
Just a badass. And like she really liked me, but then she's like, I was like, hey, do you think I underdressed a little for his interview? She's like, a bit. Anyway, so I didn't get that job, and it was so heartbreaking, but it was a long lesson in culture fit. So what that means is that in the city, there's never going to be an issue of finding someone who's qualified. For any job, they'll find someone with the right skills, but can they fit in the environment that we're trying to create?
Right.
And to be quite honest,
they're not only in other words, they're not only looking at your credentials, they're looking at your personality, kind of how maybe you look in a uncomfortable situation. I don't know, just general baseline stuff.
Just
right?
day to day. Do we speak the same? We all speak English, but do we speak the same language?
Right.
You know, and it's just the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, they're 100% right. I did not fit in there. You know, every day I would have been faking it, just trying to fit in this kind of corporate vanilla, sterile environment.
And you kind of foreshadowed it with your first day interview.
Yeah, totally. Like I was like, yeah, this is me, and this is totally not you guys.
Yeah.
So you know, in the moment it hurt like crazy, but looking back, it just makes total sense. So anyway, I just kept extending the deadline as successes kept happening, and for me, a success was just getting interviews. You know, like I had never even done an interview before, I'd never job searched before.
Right.
So the fact that I was getting traction was big for me. So August to December, I was doing that, and I had gotten a lot of close calls, which told me, hey, you just got to keep doing this because eventually something will hit.
Were you working any other side jobs?
You know, it was really funny. And some of my side hustles was like, there was a guy from Guam. I'm going to mess up his last name, Ray something. But he started this production company called Beyond Picks.
Okay.
And they had done a lot of work for a lot of big tech companies. I straight up reached out to their website, and the contact us, I put half a day. I'm Peter from Guam, and you know, I saw your owners from Guam. I'd love to hang out. You know, you open with half a day, and the owners from Guam, like someone's gonna say something to somebody.
Right.
So I had a meeting with that guy. He talks to me. He's actually one of the first ones who told me, "Hey, you need to calm the F down, bro. You're coming in way too hot. You got that island vibe, but this is the stateside. You need to just adjust some knobs a little bit and calibrate." But what I'm trying to say is, like, through his connections, I ended up being a PA on like two like commercial. It was like one was a commercial shoot, and another was a dude who was releasing a book, and it was like, if you buy a special edition of this book, you get this behind the scenes content of him talking about the book.
Okay.
So I helped out on those shoots, and it was just a very interesting, like, it basically taught me that the entire like film and television world, they're all guns for hire, freelancers. Every director, every producer, every writer, every dolly pusher, they're all just freelancers going gig to gig, job to job, you know. And it was interesting because once I had done two,
kind of like an inner circulation of work to be done.
You just need to start work. You just need to find any way in, and then do one good job, and then now you're the guy for whatever that thing you just did is, and then just keep saying yes to things, and then learn more and more, and then keep being that guy. So I saw the path towards, you know, being a freelance dude in the film world, and I was like, this kind of isn't my life. You know, for better or worse, I like the 9-to-5. You know, I like the security, I like the stability, and I just,
you're one of the first people to ever say that on this podcast.
I feel like there's, and maybe my mindset will change if I find something that is like inspiring enough or beautiful enough to chase and do my own thing on. But like, I just didn't. I had seen opportunities for all these badass companies that I just barely missed. I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to do that. You know, it's like I saw the path, and it just looked like, I don't want to say it looked like a ton of work, because everything is a ton of work. But it just it looked like a ton of work I just didn't really feel like doing, you know, straight up. So anyway, so yeah, that was some of my side hustles. And
in the process of trying to secure a job, and you were, I believe when you first moved out there, you were streaming hardcore, man. Right?
Yeah, I completely, so
completely just went right over that part.
You know, because I was gonna tell you that's all. It's crazy all the different avenues I was chasing to try to make anything work.
Yeah.
But the streaming thing was such a huge part of getting to Twitch. Because before I got to San Francisco, I was a huge fan of Twitch, but I was the kind of person where I go on Twitch, like let's say I love fighting games, right? Street Fighter, Smash Brothers, whatever. I've been following it for forever. But I would go on a Twitch and just turn off chat and just watch the tournament, the competition. And then I'd watch it live, get hype, and then just call it a day. And another thing I was doing in San Francisco was going to local fighting game tournaments and just hanging out with people, right? Because that's just what I do. I started the fighting game scene here on Guam, and I used to travel to tournaments and say hi to everybody because I was just so happy to be there. And I didn't realize saying hi to everyone was networking. No one told me that was the skill of networking. It's just being friendly with everybody and,
right.
and
Kindness.
like, yeah, and making connections and actually keeping up with people.
Yeah.
So going to all those fighting game tournaments all those years, I already knew a bunch of people in NorCal.
And you're now running into these people that you previously made. Any notable ones?
To be quite honest, I am so like in awe of how many of my idols are now my friends. It's like the world is huge until you start filtering by niches, right? And then once you find your niche and you spend a couple of years saying what's up in your niche, you kind of tend to know everybody.
Yeah.
Like literally the pro players I look up to now follow me back on Twitter. Or like they recognize me at tournaments, or we've had nights where we've like hung out and partied, and it's like, wow, this is life, huh? You find something you love and you just keep pushing it, and then eventually, you start infiltrating the circle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to name drop. It's just I just know a lot of.
Okay.
Anyway, so it's like I didn't feel uncomfortable going into these tournaments in NorCal because one, I mean, it's my environment. I feel right at home there. Two, I knew people there already. And three, it's just what I love to do.
Yeah.
So I'd be playing,
you were even commentating for a few, yeah?
I was, yeah. I was definitely just.
See, I was Ben, dude. I mean,
Thanks,
it's funny.
dude,
It's funny
you
how
really
it's
keep it
funny how
up.
fucking I didn't even know you were back on Guam, but I apparently know that you were commentating. For
No,
something.
yeah,
man. I mean, when you did leave, I was keeping up. I was very interested in how far you were going to take this streaming because you had FaceTime me one time and you just seemed passionate and the fire,
hardcore.
pro.
Yeah.
If you can digitally feel fire coming out of the phone, it's Pete, the one that's pushing it out, dude. For real,
dude. I was so on fire back then, just because you just need to believe in something to make it work because it just out there. It's kind of you versus the world, and if you don't believe in yourself, like who's going to support you, or who's going to believe in you? And anyway, so I'm going to all these tournaments, and like two things happened. One, I met this girl who's she doesn't even play fighting games, but she's like friend of a friend, and she is like a pretty successful streamer on her own, like can pay her bills with streaming. So she was streaming live at one of the tournaments I was at, and me, I'm pretty high energy once you get me going. And then she said, "What's up?" to me, and we just started vibing. And I started playing, like messing around with her stream and talking to her chat and just messing around with it. And that was the first time I had ever interacted with a stream on like a two-way street. Because again, before I would watch Twitch all the time, but I would just open up Twitch, watch a tournament on my own, and then just call it a day. Versus now I'm on the stream, I'm talking to the stream, I'm seeing them react to me in chat, I'm interacting with chat, and then I was like, oh snap! And then I go home, and then I open up a bunch of streams and I start messing around and interacting instead of just watching. And that's when it blew my mind. I'm like, oh God, this isn't just a video platform. This is a social media platform. This is where people, like live streaming is a two-way street. It's one of the only mediums that's a two-way street where you can change the show right now. If you subscribe to this person right now, they'll say what's up. You donate right now, you say what's up. You say something funny in chat and chat blows up and he reacts to it. You did that. So that's when I was like, oh my God, the magic of Twitch is interacting. The live part is incredibly important, but the thing that makes Twitch is the community. It's hanging out and being a part of it and saying what's up. So that's when it kind of clicked for me about what streaming actually was. Because before I left Guam, I had messed around with streaming on Facebook and just kind of doing it for fun.
Right.
And I had gotten, and it was so dumb for me to not realize that because I had like one game I played on stream was Breath of the Wild, which is a huge open world Zelda game for Nintendo Switch. If anyone has not heard of it, and basically I had played it should I pose? Anyway, so basically I had played it months after it came out, so a lot of my friends already knew everything about it. I knew nothing,
right?
And they helped me beat the final boss by like telling me, go to this room, get these weapons here, do this, do that. They just changed the whole experience of the game by being there. So I should have known this already, but it took
So now you're not playing alone.
Yeah, you're not. You're basically like, you're hanging out, you're opening the door, and whoever comes into your stream is just coming in to hang out. Like, that's the idea. Just sometimes it's 10 people, sometimes it's hundreds of people, sometimes it's thousands of people. So yeah, once it clicked that it's a social media platform, that's when I started going hardcore and streaming, just because it was just something else to do in the day after I was done applying to jobs for a couple hours, So once I started streaming, the homies back home supported it, and I made like a G in the first month. And Twitch has a convention every year called TwitchCon. And TwitchCon it's the convention for all the streamers and the community to come hang out. And going to fighting game tournaments for a bunch of years and saying hi to everyone taught me that you can meet anybody at these conventions as long as you just say what's up to everyone and you're cool. So I went to TwitchCon that year with the purpose of meeting as many people as I can, because the more people I meet, the more opportunity. Who knows what'll pop up? Whether
was it with the intention of getting them to follow your stream, or more of or was your approach to go with the stream, or
no? I know what you're trying to say.
Was your approach like, hey, follow my
promote the stream,
or just being a genuine human interaction?
It was definitely the latter. It was just like, yo, I'm just trying to meet everybody and see what does everyone have going on, and this is who I am, and like, how can we help each other?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't be that guy who's like, follow my stream, because everyone there is like, hey, follow my stream.
Right.
And it's just not fun to do that. You know? So yeah, I went to TwitchCon with the specific purpose of saying hi to everybody and just meeting everybody. And when you just are that dude who's out there, like, this guy looks like he's having the most fun, and people are just, they don't mind connecting with you, right? I say that, but you're also gonna get a lot of people who are like, who the hell are you, you weirdo? Get out of here.
Yeah.
And especially because it's TwitchCon filled with tons of crazed Twitch fans. All the Twitch employees are on extra guard of like, yeah, man, don't talk to me. I'm working right now. So
it's almost like we've seen you before.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and I don't blame them.
What's your sales pitch?
Yeah. They don't even want to hear the sales pitch. I'm here doing my 8 hours of volunteer shift so I can go party later.
Yeah.
Now that I'm on the other side of the fence, exactly what they're thinking. Like,
know what the reason is.
Yeah. I'm volunteering right now, so I get a free flight and hotel, so I can go party later. Dude, don't mess with me. I'm selling T-shirts. Get out of here, kid. So I said hi to everybody. I made tons of cool friends in the Twitch community, and then I talked to a ton of Twitch employees, and like, let's say I talked to 100, like, and then 3 of them were cool with me. Everyone else was like, get out of here, kid. But yes, out of the 3, one of them was like, dude, you're a pretty passionate guy. You're pretty cool. Add me on LinkedIn. I said, let's see how I can help you. So yeah, that guy, Mark Sicaria, changed my life because okay, before I get further in this Twitch journey, this is the formula of how to get your dream job in any industry. Okay, this is what took me like over a year to figure out, and I'm kind of building a presentation or a talk on this so I can present it to like the kids at UOG,
for sure,
or just to or anyone, because I feel like it's an algorithm or it's a path that no one ever taught me. And you always just wonder, like, how can I do X? How can I do Y? How do I get to Z? And I think this is the way the world works, okay? So imagine a Venn diagram, right, with 3 circles. The first circle is having marketable or valuable skills that people need. And when I say that, I mean anything. You can be accounting, HR,
right,
carpenter, video producer,
right,
whatever, skills that other people need. So that's the first circle, is have a skill set that other people need, right? Or that you're passionate about, whatever, a skill, have a skill. And then the second circle is know somebody, because a lot of people can have the same skill set, but people want to work with people they like, or not just that, people want to work with people, or people don't even know who these other people are, So if they know who you are and you have the skills they need, you're their guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to know the right people.
I think the common misconception of know somebody is people think like, oh yeah, you just gotta, because they know people without. It's almost like it's a hereditary inheritance.
Yes,
like, oh, because their dad knows their dad. And, and it's a common misconception here on Guam. That's what knowing somebody actually means. It's putting yourself out there.
Yeah, so dude, you can't be mad. You can never be mad at the game. You can just play it, right? Yeah. So if you need to know somebody, then get to know them. Figure out how to know the right people.
Yeah.
Be someone that they want to know. Just don't cry about it, right? Like, you can just be that person who's crying that you don't have the right luck, or you just figure it out. So anyway, and that was very cocky. I want to say that I had a lot of support and help from my friends and family, and there's no way I could have done it without them. But at the same time, like, someone else could have had the same resources and done something completely different, or not have been able to do it. But I digress. So Circle 1, have a skill set. Circle 2, know the right people. Circle 3, this was the harder one to figure out. The opportunity needs to exist, right? So let's say I wanted to work at Twitch, right? And I was a video producer who finally met somebody who was willing to help me, but there was no spots for a video producer. It's like, what am I going to do? I can't help you, bro. Like, I want to help you, but there's no opportunity for you yet. So now you just got to be patient. You got to be patient and persistent, because it's not on the dude you know's job to keep an eye out for you on whether or not there's a video producer position open. He's not going to be like, hey man, I've been keeping an eye out every day to see if we're finally hiring a video producer. And I finally gotta, yeah, that's not his job. His job is just to exist and be your homie. And your job is to freaking set up alerts on Indeed and Glassdoor and watch that Twitch website every day, right, and just be like, yo man, I think this position works for me. Oh, I think this position works for me. That's one of the things that is so irritating for me, where it's like, sometimes someone does have a skill set and then they know the right people and they're like, yeah, man, just let me know if you see anything. Why is it on me to figure that out? You're the one that wants to get here.
Right.
Put some freaking effort into this, dude. Do you want to be here or not? So that's the third option, or the third
circle.
The third circle is just the opportunity has to exist, right? And then once all those three things connect, the middle is the interview, which means don't F up your shot. Be well prepared. Do all your homework, practice your answers, research the people you're going to talk to, research what the job might be like, and just think about every question from every angle. Imagine what it would be like to be there and what you would do and how you would do it, and like what your goals would be for that position, and ask them what they want you to do there. Just really, really prepare. Because even if they ask you none of that, you've still been thinking about it and marinating on it for so long that you're like kind of ready for, you know, you have like a foundation of what your mindset is coming into the room. Right. Versus just like, yeah, man, you know, I just got this interview. What's up? Coming here to hang out before lunch. So you got to prepare, you know, and the humbling of almost getting a job in so many badass companies taught me to prepare. Because I was coming into these interviews like, bruh, I've been in San Francisco 4 days and Nintendo's talking to me. Why aren't you hiring me yet, bruh? You know, like I was just so cocky. So cocky.
Oh my gosh. That's too fucking funny.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, man, I went on this Couch Every World tour. I had lunches with some really cool people.
You know what my fucking journey's been like?
Yeah, bro. You know, I'm a self-taught video producer, bro. You know, I was just so cocky. And I'm so happy that it took me over a year to get to Twitch, because I was so ready. I was so ready to treat that opportunity with the respect it deserved. Versus if I had gotten it a month 2 and been my 3rd, 4th interview, come on, Twitch. You know, like it just I would not have been the same person. And a lot of things happened in between that too. So anyway, here's like the 3 things that got me to Twitch. Started streaming, went to TwitchCon, met someone who'd be down to refer me, right? Second thing was I'm going to all these fighting game tournaments and I'm meeting a bunch of people, and who would have thought that of all these nerds, some of them work in tech? I never even thought about that. I would just go into these tournaments because I wanted to play video games. Yeah. But then I was making friends with people who worked in tech. I
have a question.
Go ahead.
Did becoming a Twitch affiliate help in any way?
It helped because I understood Twitch.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of...
It didn't lay the groundwork, but it was definitely something that... Yeah.
No, it's huge. It's because there's a lot of... There's hella people in the Bay who are video producers. But can they also speak the Twitch language and also exist in the Twitch office environment? You see what I'm saying? Those three things are hard to come by. So anyway, the 3 things were start streaming, went to TwitchCon, met somebody who would refer me. Started playing fighting games out there, met a bunch of people, started getting invited to tech office parties. You know, Discord? Yeah. I got invited. I got invited to a Discord office party, and there I met my future manager. Her name's Karen Chu, and I met her because Karen's husband plays Street Fighter. So I met him first, not knowing that he knew Karen Chu at all. By the way, Karen Chu used to work for Electronic Gaming Monthly, which was like a huge ass magazine when we were kids.
Yeah.
I had a
EGM,
bro.
No, EGM.
Yeah. So she worked for EGM, and then EGM became OneUp.com, which was my favorite gaming news website when I was in high school. And they had podcasts. I used to listen to her on OneUp It's called One Up Yours. That was the name of the weekly podcast. Not only that, they had a show called the One Up Show, where they did video reviews. And the One Up Show was a big reason why I got into making videos, because I just thought it was such a cool show. It looked like something I could do with my friends. And I even had like a movie review show that I did with my friends when I was younger, based on the format of the One Up Show.
Yeah.
So anyway, just I saw her and it was like seeing one of my heroes. I'm like, oh my God, you're Karen Chu. And she's such a badass. She's like, how do you know me? Because she also does she runs like Disney marathons in costume. She has her own trivia podcast. Like she has a lot of avenues that her niches. Mm-hmm. But then when I told her I knew her through EGM, she's like, oh, you're an OG. Like, you know me from like way back when. I'm like, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, remember, this girl is my future manager. Well, we didn't know that at the time. I was just a fan of hers. So streaming got me the referral. Gaming got me gaming kind of proved to this person who was going to interview me later on in the line that I was a culture fit and passionate about Twitch. And then the third thing was just job searching, just constantly job searching and interviewing, and
still moving. Still pushing the ticket.
Yeah,
anything that you can possibly.
That was helping me grow as an interviewer, just humbling me, right? Making me more prepared for when the opportunity were to come.
Yeah.
So like those three things, all things I did kind of separately, led to the Twitch opportunity. But this kind of sounds like everything was hitting and everything was working well, and it was for the first. From August to December 2017, this all happened in 6 months. Like everything I just said, that all happened in like 6 to 8 months. And I was like, yo, this is insane. I'm on fire, feeling great. Like something is going to happen. I feel all this momentum happening. But then, when you leave Guam, all you're thinking about is like, yo, I'm trying to get out of here. Deuces, everybody. And I come back home for Christmas and I'm like, and then I remember, holy crap, I love home. I love everyone. I love my family. I love my friends. Why am I out there?
Right.
And so for the first time ever in the couch surfing world tour and job searching, for the first time ever, I go back to SF at the end of January and I'm homesick. I'm so homesick. I just miss home really bad. And then on top of that, for the first time ever, I'm not getting any interviews. I'm not getting anyone talking to me. No one, you think in the Bay you think anywhere in the city, there's infinite opportunities. No, when you're a video producer, which is such a niche skill set, there's like 8 jobs a week for video producers, and 7 of them, most of them kind of suck. Want to go work for a pet food company shooting stuff?
Right.
No, thank you.
Shooting rabbits and then going to shoot pornos right after.
Yeah,
that,
yeah. Or you want to go shoot you want to go work for this whack ass ad agency who does like pet shows. Yeah. Like pet fashion shows. Like that's whack. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I can't even lie in the interview and say I want to do that. So there's like 8 jobs a week and tons of competition, and the reality of stuff started hitting me. So for like a hot 2 to 3 months after Christmas, is the beginning of 2018, I'm just depressed.
Following your insane hot streak.
Yeah. Without highs, there's you need lows to have highs, and I finally had hit a low point. And I had so much fun traveling. I had so much fun job searching. I had so much fun exploring SF. And that was the first time I'd ever had to really dig deep. There were weeks really where it's like wake up at 2 p.m. and then you just lay under your covers until like 6 because you're like, man, I don't want to face just another day of feeling like I'm not doing anything, And those were the days when I just started, like, after recognizing the pattern I was in, I was like, man, I got to work out. I got to go to the park or something. I just need to do anything I can to feel a little positive. And that downtime, that's when I learned about the third circle of you need to wait for your opportunity to exist. Because I had the puzzle pieces and I was like, oh, it's never going to happen. It's not that it's never going to happen. It's just that you got to wait for your chance. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that back then. And that's something that's still hard to think now.
Patience. Right?
Yeah, patience. Yeah. And things have been hitting me. Things have been hitting for me so quick and so often that I just thought like, that's how it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I had that downtime of like 3 months, not knowing what was going to happen. Gave myself a time limit of like, yo, if this doesn't happen by the end of 2018, you gotta just go back home, figure it out. But by March, a video producer opportunity came up in Twitch, and it was like everything it said. I was like, I can do that. That's me. So I hit up my boy Mark. he referred me for the job. And then lo and behold, I get an email from Karen Chu saying, I know you know who I am. We want to talk to you about this role. I'm the one hiring for it. And I was like,
Oh shit.
Oh my God. You know, like, is this fate? You know, like the butterfly meme. But so I talk with her, we vibe, we super click. And then I don't hear back from them for a minute. But you know, after months of nothing happening, and I get an interview with someone I already know I click with for my dream company, I'm like, F it, baby, let's go Coachella. Yeah, let's celebrate.
Let's go spend some cash.
Yeah, F it, dude. This is a dub for me. Let's dip into the savings. You know,
I won't eat for a week. I don't care.
Yeah. I'm just, you know, so I'm at Coachella with some friends. Never been to Coachella before. Super excited to be there. And then day 0, right? Coachella starts Friday. Thursday, I arrive. I'm hanging out with friends. Thursday at Coachella, I find out that I made it to the second round of Twitch, which was a video editing test that was due Monday. And I was like, oh my God.
Shit.
Is this God telling me to go home? You know, is this God saying, hey, Pete, how bad you want this job, right?
Yeah.
And I even downloaded the video files. I was trying to work on it at the house while everyone was partying. I'm like, and I just say F it. You know, I email them back, hey guys, I'm sorry. You know, I'm on a trip right now. Had I known about this beforehand, I would have totally postponed this trip. But you know, if for me to give you my best work, could I please get an extension on the deadline? And at the time when I've gone through a year of trying to get into Twitch, and now the opportunity is finally happening, it seems like the most grave question ever.
Right. It's like the absolute last thing you want to do.
Yeah. Hey, like I'm not taking this seriously, right?
Yeah. Hey, you kind of coming into my plans right now.
Hey, man, you know, it's kind of cracking my style. But now that I'm on the other side of the table, it's a totally reasonable thing to ask. Like, you know, like, yeah, no, they were cool. Yeah, no, it's fine. Take 2 days. And I was like, oh my God. I remember being in the hot tub with my friends, like, yo, what if I go to Coachella and I get this job? Wouldn't that be the craziest thing ever? So we go party, have fun, have a good time, come back, grind. It's funny because the instructions to the test said only take 3 hours on this video because we want to get a, you know, accurate assessment of how it would be like if you were to just, if this was like what you had to do for it a day.
Right.
But you think I took 3 hours? Bro, I grinded for like 36 hours in that video. Didn't sleep, just stared at it.
I've dabbled in video editing. If you've done video editing, you're at the computer,
forever.
hours.
Yeah.
And then OCD starts kicking in, and you start seeing the little shit that needs like half a second off.
Yeah. Things are never really done. You're just kind of done with it.
Right. Yeah.
I also call
that's a fucking good way to put it.
Yeah. This is and I don't know if other artists feel this way, but I look at art as like hating yourself until it's done. Because you're like, you know what it can be, and it's not there yet. You're like, no, damn it. Like for me, shooting is the most fun aspect because you're so present and in the moment. Versus editing is like, oh, I know what this is. I know what I want it to be, but I see the mountain I have to climb to get it there, and it's gonna take a minute, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So do the videoing test. That goes well. I do the on-site interviews. It's like where you go into Twitch and you have to talk to like 5 people back to back to back. And I had done a bunch of on-sites at this point. And I had some interviews that went really well and some interviews where it's like, yo, man, we ran out of things to talk about in the first 15 minutes and we have a whole hour here. And what was so encouraging about Twitch was that every person I talked to, I felt like I could talk to forever. It's like I had an hour with each of them and all of them felt like we were vibing really hard. We could keep talking about everything. And here's another thing that showed how serious I was taking this opportunity. I had a notebook that I wrote notes in, right? And what I did was, in my notebook, the first couple pages were just research on Twitch itself, the history of the company, where they're currently at now, just as much as I could get on like the status of Twitch itself. And this is kind of how I work. I need to write things down either by hand or just typing it, just to kind of have the info exist in my head.
Right.
So I had a couple pages of just Twitch, and then they give you the names of the people you're going to interview. So what I would do is I'd have 2 pages for each person, write their name really big, and then it'd be like bullet points about who they are, where they're from, and then questions I have for them. And like questions I have about what they do at Twitch / how we would interact / what do you think this position what do you think I should do in this position? What's the ideal version of this person you're hiring? And it's hard to ignore. Like if you saw a boo ad on a book, you're like, oh, is that my name?
Yeah.
So that was, it was a little bit of a tactic, but it was also like me preparing.
Yeah.
So for every person, I had a dossier of like, hey man, I did all my homework on you, and this is my idea of what you do, and like tell me how we would interact, blah 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 blah. So that they just showed every person there, this guy wants this job really bad. He obviously did his homework, and he's really really thinking about this, but at the same time, he's not some crazy individual who we can't talk to. Like I'm also personable and can vibe in the room, but I clearly care so much about this.
Right.
And that Peter would not have existed in the first month. That guy would have just strode in. What's up? What up, Twitch? That guy just would have been so cocky.
Oh, you don't know me?
Yeah. You don't follow the stream yet? You ain't a sub? So stupid.
Oh man.
Yeah, for real.
Dude, I mean, it makes sense though, right?
It does. So that's why I said I was so happy that it came when it did, because I wouldn't have been ready for it if it came earlier.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been ready for it. So I did all that, and then
do you think that's destiny or fate that things kind of played out that way for you?
I always go back and forth about whether or not I believe in destiny or fate, but there's this book I read called Zen and the Art of Happiness. And the one thing to take from it is that everything that happens for the best possible reason, right? Past is the past. It can never be changed. So you can't like dwell on it. You can only ask yourself how it makes you better. Right. So that's kind of, I try to boil things down to like really simple stuff. And then that's always held pretty true for me. So I don't know if it was destiny or fate or whatever. It's just that's how the cards played out, and then I played those cards as best I could.
But the very fact that the position that opened up, you qualified for every single thing. You checked the box on everything.
The manager was my
and
hero.
The fucking person who was doing it was your hero who you met months prior.
And what's crazy is I didn't realize how much of a shoo-in I was for the job. But my manager she would email me before the interviews and be like, hey, I'm not really supposed to do this, but like, if you're nervous, that's okay. Being nervous is fine. Like, it keeps you on your toes, blah, blah, blah. She's giving me advice. People don't do that when you're getting interviews. They're not rooting for you. I didn't even realize she was rooting for me because I had just been so lost in my like, oh God, am I going to fuck this up? I got to try really hard. But yeah, like it could have been fate. Who knows? But yeah, so got the on-site interviews, and then I felt like I did so well in them that I went on another trip to Chicago with some friends for a big fighting game tournament. And then on the trip to Chicago, they said, hey, one last thing. We want you to talk with the head of our entire organization. So the way big companies work is like, yeah, okay, we're Twitch, but then there's the finance team of Twitch. There's the HR team of Twitch. This is the ad sales team that I'm applying for. We want you to talk to the head of the ad sales team, because basically what he does is like, okay, this person's qualified. Y'all like him, but let me gut check him. I'm the captain of this ship. Let's see who's joining my ship. Mm-hmm. So we want you to talk to the head. His name's Jonathan Simpson Bint, JSB. Guy's a legend. He started like the official PlayStation magazine. If you just look up JSB, Jonathan Simpson Bint, on like LinkedIn, you'll just see like if gaming media in general was changed by this dude. And yeah, so I had to talk with him. And on my trip to Chicago, like I was hanging with my friends, sightseeing, and then I was like, hey guys, I gotta leave. I gotta go in this hostel, in this meeting room, and just mentally prepare and talk to this guy. And it was such an interesting interview because it was not about like how I was gonna do the job. It's like, why do you want to work here? Why don't you want to go to LA and do film? Why Twitch? Who are you? Like just a gut check of just who are you as a human being? And we just talked and vibed, and it was basically like what I told you of like, I don't want to do this run and gun filmmaking world. Like it's kind of not for me. I love Twitch. Gaming has been my entire life. Video production has been my entire life. And this is the perfect like culmination of those two passions. And yeah, so and in the room with everybody, it would seem like a great place to work at because I vibed with everybody. It seemed like a great office environment. And he's like, you know what, man? Sounds great. Sounds like you got the job. And I was like, no way.
No way.
I'm still tearing up thinking about it, like remembering that day, because it was like, oh crap, I did it.
Yeah.
It's like, and That was literally August of 2018. I moved there August 2017.
A whole year.
So it was like almost a year to the dot of the journey.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy crap, I did it. I did it. I did it.
Yeah.
And yeah. The rest is history. There's a whole, I mean, the rest, the other side of the story isn't as interesting of like, okay, I got the job, and then I've been at Twitch for a year and a half, and I would say the first year at Twitch was keeping the job. Like, okay, you're here. Now, what do I have to do? Who are all these people?
Yeah.
How do I fit in this environment? There was a lot of growing pains there, but that's just not as interesting as the journey of like getting there. That was a hard part, because like once you're in the system, you kind of just got to you just got to work within the system,
Yeah,
right?
man. I mean, you unknowingly mapped out, everything you needed to get that job. I mean,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have known about the run and gun culture of the filmmaking world, and putting yourself into those situations and being able to eventually use it as one of your tools in your belt.
That's so true. I never even thought about it like that. Yeah.
To share and be like, nah, this is the reason why.
It's like, why? Like, I could confidently say why I didn't want to go to LA, because I had already gotten a taste of that freelance life. I was like, it's just not for me, Maybe not now, especially because I had visited, like I said, I had gotten invited to some office parties, and I saw the environment. I'm like, yo, I could do this every day. I've been in an office, and this is the coolest office I've ever seen in my life. You guys got great food. You got scooters. You guys got the baddest computers ever. You got a gaming room. You got meeting rooms that are like Legend of Zelda themed. Like, come on, guys, this is sick.
Right. It's almost like a fantasy.
It is. And we could get into this whole other podcast if you want to talk about like the tech industry and whether or not that culture, on the surface it seems insane, but whether or not that culture is good for you, because it basically just keeps you at the office all day. We could have a whole talk about that, but
I remember doing the Google tour.
Mm-hmm.
Matt took us on the Google tour.
Oh, that's insane! I've never been to Google.
It's awesome, dude. It's like a whole it's
a campus,
like you said. No reason to leave.
Yeah, exactly. Your gym's there.
Everything,
food's there.
Everything's free.
Yeah,
like the drink, the smoothies.
Yeah.
The breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The transportation to and from home.
Yep.
Like you said, scooters everywhere, and just people constantly moving, keeping the organism alive, right?
Yeah.
How many people work for Twitch?
I'm gonna mess up this number for sure. It's something around like 1,500 to 2,000 people, something like that. SF has like 800 to 1,000 people in our office, which is like 10 floors. And then around the world, there's just a bunch of other contingent workers and contractors and people who we have a New York office, or London office. There's just it's about 2,000, I would say. Probably definitely getting that wrong, but it's more than like 1,400, and it's definitely at most 2,000 people.
Yeah.
But
that whole tech industry culture is insane to me.
Yeah,
and it's something that if you were to bring it here to Guam, you'd be like, what the fuck is this?
To be quite honest, if you were to bring that anywhere but SF, that's something
that's very fucking true.
Yeah, that's something that's another thing that I kind of wanted to get into here, was just learning that the experience of being from the island is just this. It's super similar to this, just being from a small town in anywhere in America.
Right.
I thought, I mean, it is special being from Guam because we're such a unique status, and then two, it's so hard to get off the island compared to everywhere else. Like, bro, it's $2,000 round trip just to even get off. The saving money for the plane ticket, that's, if someone in small town America, $2,000 is the flight to a city and rent for like 3 months, right? Like with $2,000, you can make that dream happen. On Guam, you need $2,000 just to even start thinking about whether or not you could get off the island, right? So the barrier to get off Guam is so high, and it's scarier too, because if you go out there and it doesn't work out, it's super hard to get back. So the stakes are high if you're from Guam, is what I'm trying to say. But man, I'm trying to figure out how to put it, but I always thought of myself as an islander, but I didn't realize how Asian we are as well. Because we are Asian Pacific Islanders. We're both of those things.
Right.
And you went to school off island, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Where'd you go to school?
U of A.
U of A, Arizona.
Tucson, yeah.
Tucson. So, yeah. So you had, you probably had a similar experience as me, where like I'm out and about. I'm at Twitch and I'm just going out all the time meeting people, and I'm just like, wow, why do I click with Asian people so well, so easy? Culturally, why do things just mesh, right?
Right.
Whereas you meet people from different backgrounds, and you're like, man, both of us are really trying to relate and hang out right now, and it's effort.
I don't know. In Tucson, I think it was the Mexicans.
Yeah.
That I
you
really,
vibed with,
really
right?
Vibed with, you know.
Okay, I'm trying to think of.
Well, I mean, San Francisco is a really big Asian city, right?
Yeah.
So,
I will say though, and I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. You vibe with certain Mexicans, right? Who knew being Catholic was such a big thing that helped us relate to so many people, right?
Right.
I hang out with my Mexican friends in San Francisco. I go to a party, I'm like, oh, I know this completely. What's up, Grams? You know, you just fit right in. You just kind of realize like all the different cultural influences we have besides just being islanders, right?
Yeah. The only thing that makes us islanders is the fact that we live on an island.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Guam is a concoction of subcultures.
Yeah,
right. And
yeah.
beneath the nationality and the race subculture, there's new subcultures starting to build up, and that's in the skill sets that we all have. Right. You see these little communities pop up every now and then, whether it's in fitness or gaming, jiu-jitsu, art. I think as far as like us being islanders, you know, it's a screwy definition that you cannot kind of categorize into.
Yeah. It's like islander isn't the end all be all of your definition.
Yeah.
It just kind of helped expand my mindset. I think I guess what I'm trying to get at is it's important to find your tribe in the world. And your tribe doesn't just mean culturally. It's like you were talking about fitness, right? Like my tribe is like gaming, jiu-jitsu, partying, you know, being Asian, being Catholic, like just all the things that you kind of sort of make you who you are. And I say being Catholic not as someone who's religious, but just like this is what I was just raised in, and I understand these vibes.
Correct. Yeah,
you know,
yeah, for sure.
But
I take off my shoes before I get into the house too.
Yeah, bro.
How Asian of me.
Yeah, people poop on these streets. Why are you bringing your shoes into the house? You're putting your shoes in the bed? That is disgusting. You know?
Right.
You know, and the people who agree with me, like, I guess we vibe. I guess we're in the same tribe. You know? I guess
that's the subcultures that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
you know, those
yeah.
are the subcultures that are created outside of what color my skin is and what my background is, right?
Yeah.
Or ethnicity.
It was just real eye-opening. There you start to learn, like, you know, you can vibe with anyone, but there's just people you're more compatible with. It's just life, right? It was just life. But that's just another thing.
Did you force yourself to surround yourself with other islanders out in the Bay?
I didn't force myself. I would say I have 4 sets of friends in the Bay. And I didn't force myself to hang out with other islanders. I was just trying to hang out with anyone I knew.
Okay.
You know, right. Just literally anybody.
I didn't mean that in any like bad.
No. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you know, it's like I don't know anybody. First thing I'm gonna do is go to what I'm comfortable with.
Also, by the way, I had no idea that I was part of the Guam Mafia until I left Guam. And there's anytime you're like, oh, he's from Guam, what's up? I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'm getting invited to this thing. Oh, I guess we're hanging out after the store closes. I didn't know. You know, like, you know, it's like okay, I don't know if you heard of Pubechu, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, so yeah, you know,
the
like,
Shans.
The Shans.
Shout out to the Shans. They're opening up. They're reopening.
Reopened. They just reopened. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where it's like I met them through some homies that I knew, and then we just ended up kicking back after the store was closed or after the shop was closed and just vibing and chilling. And it's funny because they have a friend, Samir, who just opened up his restaurant. And he was like, yeah, man, dude, once I met one Guam person, I met all of them. Y'all are just one big ass Guam mafia. I'm just happy to be a part of it. I'm like, bro, I didn't even know I was in the mafia. No one told me. But it's just a small world. It's cool. But anyway, my 4 sets of friends in SF are like my Guam friends who are like people I've known from before I left or people I met just through being, you know, from Guam. Mm-hmm. And then my gaming friends, which is the people I met through playing Street Fighter and fighting games and streaming, and then my work friends who, I just go and say hi to everybody. And I joke that at lunch at work, I don't go down for food. I go down for camaraderie. I just say hi to everybody. It's just like a big college campus, basically, and then the last is like SF friends, who like friends you just meet from going out and chilling and hanging out with people, and you just genuinely vibe with each other, and
Right.
you become friends.
Whether it be at a bar or anywhere.
Anywhere, yeah. But yeah, I would say those are like my 4 like sets of friends in San Francisco. Another thing that I didn't realize, it's like the Islander thing of like, you go in a room, you gotta say hi to everybody, and be cool with everybody and learn how to like make conversation with people and be chill. Like that's special.
Yeah.
Like not everyone has that. I didn't know that. So I just being an Islander, it's such a superpower. And I learned this from her name escapes me, but there's 2 women who work at Pixar. They're both from Guam, and they came.
The Knight sisters.
It's Denite and someone else.
Okay.
And this person is the head. She's like a head of HR.
I know Mana.
Mana works under this person.
Okay.
Mana was also, so Mana and this person, I feel so bad their name is escaping me, but if anyone did any research, they'll figure it out. They came to Guam before I left, and their talk is kind of what inspired me to do this journey.
Okay.
Because they travel around America, and they give a talk to, they basically pitch Pixar as a potential workplace for all these college students, but then they also tell their journeys and kind of tell their stories and give people advice on job searching, right? And it was so true what they said, that like being from Guam is a superpower in the sense that you just automatically stand out in a conversation. Like, oh, what? You're from Guam? What does that even mean? Who are you? How are you even here?
Mm-hmm.
So being from Guam, it's like, one, we have this just like natural friendliness because we all grew up in a community, right? Where we just all know each other all the time and say what's up to everyone all the time. So we have that vibe. And then we're from Guam, so people are like, who are you? How are you here? What do you do?
Yeah.
So saying you're from Guam just automatically kind of just I wouldn't say it elevates you, but it just kind of just makes you the nail that stands out a little bit, and you just get to have a conversation started.
Yeah.
I could honestly say that by playing that Guam card all the time and just being so happy to be at Twitch because it took me so long to get there, I would say I'm like top 5 in knowing the most people at the company, like for sure. Everyone who at Twitch is like, this guy is the craziest dude I've ever met in my life. I call myself the chief vibes officer, and I hope I don't ever get in trouble for that. But people freaking introduce me to that to their friends sometimes, and people believe it. Oh, that's the CVO. I say that. I say I'm the chief vibes officer all the time, except in front of my manager. I never say it in front of her because I just don't want her to be like, you have an actual job, Peter. Yes, ma'am, you're right. I totally do. Totally do. Oh man.
Was it everything you expected it to be?
Absolutely, yeah. It's awesome. I recently just lost like 30 pounds. Cause
Yeah, you look good.
thank you, bro.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you
it.
can tell as soon as you walked in. I was like, dang, he's a bit slimmer.
Tried. I'm out here trying. And I will say that I recently lost all that weight because I'm so happy career-wise that I just need something else to chase. Right? I kind of am embarrassed to say this out loud sometimes, but I'm sort of running out of dreams. I need to find new dreams to chase. Because like before, I always want to leave home. I always want to live in a city. I always want to work for a big gaming company. I did all that. Yeah, I'm doing it right now. And I was like, oh, damn. Oh, what else do I do?
All right.
Again, that's why I'm just trying to push it. I'm just trying to push it as hard as I can because life has taught me that happiness and sadness, everything's temporary. As try as you might, something's gonna happen that's gonna kind of gonna rock you. I've been rocked this year. I got rocked last year. Life is gonna hit us
For sure.
so we gotta enjoy the moment as much as we can and push it as much as we can because you just never know what's gonna happen tomorrow. You never know what's gonna happen in the next minute, right? So yeah, I think that's when you say is it everything I ever thought it would be. It's like it's that and more, but it's also some days it feels like a regular job where you go in and you're like not as motivated to work, or you got a bunch of people asking for. Here's another thing that I thought would be different, but it's not. I thought I'd be working in this big company. I'd learn all this new stuff, and I am. But like as a creative, all the creatives who ever listen to this can relate. Like you ask a company for a logo, and they give you this logo in like a PDF. Where it's like, bro, how do I even get? Don't you understand? I need like an Illustrator file or like at least a high quality PNG. That still happens at the highest levels. It's just people.
EPS file.
Yeah, people are human beings at all levels. Who knew? Even at this level, it's like, yo, man, do you not
need
realize?
more water?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
It's like even at this level, it's like, hey, do you realize that the video you just kind of asked me for is completely unreasonable, and you're asking for it like 3 days? Like that makes no sense. Like at all levels, people don't understand what artists do, and they think art is easy. And it's not their fault. They don't know. It's on you to properly explain the process and convey what the workload is and kind of set expectations, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I thought I'm in a big company. Everyone's gonna understand what video production is, and it's gonna be a perfect working environment. Like no, everyone at every level in every company is just making it up as they go along. It's just that they're doing it with higher stakes or with more resources. It's just interesting to see how, I guess, relatable everything is at the end of the day. Even though you think it'd be crazy, it's crazy, but it's also not.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even just doing some kind of hustle here on Guam, right?
Yeah.
You always have to figure it out. How do you do this? Well, yeah, actually nobody knows how to do it.
Yeah, everything's figuring it out. Who knew?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that was one of the things I said in my interview. I was like, yeah, I just can't wait to learn what it's like in a big company. He's like, guess what? It's the same. You just figure it out. You just become the guy. You're our video guy. Figure it out.
Yeah.
That's your job.
Right.
Got it, boss.
Yeah. I don't care if you have to go to YouTube or Google.
Yeah, everyone YouTubes. Everyone YouTubes. That's still at the highest level. It's cool. It's good. It's good to know.
Right.
It's good to know that so I've been doing it right this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for somebody now. Right.
Yeah. And I guess I don't want to. I was gonna get into this whole thing about working for somebody, working for yourself. But even if you're working for yourself, you're just choosing who you work for.
Right.
It's
still for somebody eventually.
Even if you're like starting a clothing brand, you're working for all of your customers. Right. Everyone's working for each other. It's not for somebody. No man is an island. Right.
Yeah.
It's just like, who do you choose to work for? What's your mission? Why are you doing it? And for me, it's like, yo, I love Twitch. I love gaming. I love the people I work with. I've been in a couple different office environments. This is one of the greatest offices I've ever seen in my life. I get to clock in, clock out, do my own thing. Great benefits. I thought I was making great money until I got hit with the Cali taxes. Boom. Cali taxes and Cali cost of living. And I'm like, yo, man, I'm just a regular dude. I'm just a regular guy.
Yeah, it's in the poverty line in California or San Francisco in general. I mean, specifically is, I believe it's like 110K.
Oh, like that. If you're not making that,
yeah, you're considered poor.
I'm not making that, but with benefits, it's actually when people talk about like.
Can you double check that, Matt?
Poverty, yeah. I mean, I don't want to get into specifics, but it's like, I can see it.
You don't have to tell us how much you make.
No, I'm not. But I'm just, I can see it.
Right.
Yeah. With the cost of living and the way it is, I am so uneducated on this topic, and one of the things I'm trying to be, because I'm one of the tech workers who's making the city more expensive to live in.
Right.
Yeah. I'm that dude who has space that a local used to have, but they can't afford anymore, right?
Yeah.
And
you're the reason for gentrification.
I'm part of it. Like, I think a big part of being an adult is being self-aware.
Yeah.
I think it's like the number one thing to being an adult. So I just try to look at it and just be like, okay, because I'm part of it. So, but how do I learn more about just everything, right? Like how I affect things, how it got here, what it was like. I'm so curious about what SF was like before all of this, because it really boomed in the past like 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Like people who were living there saw it happen, and it must have been so crazy to see it happen. And I just always assumed like, oh, more money coming in the city must be so great for you guys, but it's not actually all good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. knowing I'm part of the problem, I just don't want to be ignorant. Just be like, oh, cool, I'm having a great time. Like I want to understand it better, you know?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to veil yourself from the effects of things outside of your control, right? In order to chase the things that you do want to chase.
Yeah.
Ultimately, somebody's going to be affected. Somebody who's paying you, signing your paycheck, is part of something much bigger than you.
Yeah.
You know?
I just don't want to be ignorant, you know?
Yeah.
Just trying to be aware of it. But yeah, I think I don't know. I've just been vomiting my thoughts for the past like hour or so. How do you feel after hearing everything I just said? Like, because the last time we talked, I had no job and I was just figuring it out. And I was gonna go figure it out.
Yeah, the last time we talked on the podcast, you were going through that, but then you came over one time, right?
Yeah, just
Remember
hung
that?
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this was between. I had been job searching.
Yeah. And you came over, and Matt remembers this well. We were listening to Jed, Jed, the rapper. We were listening to one of his new jams he hasn't released yet. And you came in and you're like, yo, I got something to say. Turn that down for a second.
Did I say that? I was so that was
Dude, you came in with
hot
fire.
That was the PQ who had gotten like 6 job interviews and almost made it. Like that guy was so on that,
Right. That was
different headspace.
That was that December, right? When you came home.
That was the December. That was the December. Yeah.
Came in blazing.
But it made sense that I was gonna hit a low because there's no way you can last that high that long. You know, you can't be that guy for that long. I'm sorry. So, okay.
Try San Francisco Bay Area in.
Well, okay. So, before the podcast started, you said I said something during that visit, and it stuck with you. And what was it?
Yeah, let's connect those two stories. Yeah, so you came in, guns a-blazing, and just started talking.
Yeah.
And
Sounds
you were
like
telling me what I need. It's like, dude, this is what you need to do. I figured it out.
Yeah.
And trying to get yourself out there.
The circle of life.
Right. And one thing that you said that stuck with me was MVP, minimum value product.
Yeah. Oh my God. That where I learned that? From that behind the scenes book interview thing I told you I helped shoot.
Okay.
That's where I learned that from that guy. Yeah. What's the minimum thing you can make to start selling?
Right.
Instead of making something, just what's the core of my thing?
Right.
Yeah. Holy crap. I forgot about that.
Yeah. We had just started all this video production stuff. Like, dude, you don't need the most expensive stuff.
Yeah.
Just get what you need to get by.
Yeah.
And I think about it, and I think that's the approach that I did take, and just trying to upgrade, getting people to sponsor the podcast and stuff like that, and being able to have such a production set up, right? And
beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. So it's cool. It's cool to have seen your journey, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, last time we talked on the podcast, none of this existed.
Yeah.
You're a completely different person.
Yeah.
You were more of the aspiring to be. Now you're like accomplished, right? You've reached that goal. You've reached the goal. You've killed off. You've checked the box.
Yeah. Accomplished is a scary word, but I can definitely say I did what I set out to do, which was find where I wanted to be, and just find where I wanted to be, both in terms of like location and job.
Because it's a huge step, man, to take leaving the island, and not knowing what's next, right? And especially in careers that's not doctors, lawyers.
Yeah. My mom is finally okay with being a video producer.
Really?
She's finally like, I guess it worked out. Because I have a math degree. I was number 5 in my high school. I was supposed to be a doctor. I was a classic smart Asian kid, And then all of a sudden, my boy EJ Calvo offers me a job doing video. Like, hey, Ma, I gotta shoot parties. This sounds way more fun than going to graduate school. Oh man. Okay, I have this relates to what we were just talking about. I have a very simple view on life, and it's just basically, the goal in life is just to be happy, right? We all just want to be happy at the end of the day.
Right.
And to be happy, in my definition, I think to be happy means to have no regrets. And no regrets means you tried your hardest. And that's it. If you tried your hardest, how can you have regrets? Because you did everything you could.
Right.
And I think that's the thing that kind of kept me going when I was in San Francisco, even in the really low points, was like, but did you do everything you could have? You know, can you honestly look at yourself and be like, I tried my best. I did everything. And even in the lowest of low points, I'm like, no, I know there's still more to do, you know? So it's important to not ignore your sadness. It's important to let yourself feel those things and let yourself process it and get through it, because it's super unhealthy to not feel them. But once you feel them, you can't feel that way forever. And what's next? You know, pick yourself up.
Right.
So yeah, that's my formula for happiness. It's just want to be happy, no regrets, try hardest.
Yeah. Or just be happy.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or if you're happy, don't change anything.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe that's why I said in my definition, like, there's a lot of people who are happy and they don't need to try.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
sometimes $1 million makes someone happy.
Yeah. Sometimes it makes you really sad.
Or sometimes it makes you really fucking
sad. Yeah.
So hold on, before we get away from this, I just don't
poverty.
What is considered low income? Just right there, the people also ask.
117, basically 118K a year. To be considered low income in San Francisco, San Mateo, and Marin counties, a family of 4 must earn 117K. A family of 4, okay. A very low income is considered 73K.
This is still based on a family of 4.
Family of 4, yeah. Yeah,
that's a very particular detail right there, though.
The family of 4 part.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, since we're bringing up the idea of family, I will say going out there has taught me, at least this is current 30-year-old Peter speaking, that this is being out there is super fun. It's everything I thought it would be, but when I have my family, it's back here. It's all of that stuff, that city life, the opportunities, all that stuff is really cool. But a lot of people hate where they come from. They come from bum ass middle of nowhere with no opportunities, horrible surroundings, horrible people. We don't come from that. We come from an island paradise where, I don't know about everyone else, but I like everyone I grew up with.
Yeah.
The vast majority of my friends I really enjoy being around. And, the family parties with like dozens of uncles and aunties and cousins, and you gotta go around and bless like 70 people. Like, I'm about that. I want if my kids need to see that. They need to feel comfortable with that. They can't just visit that once a year and just kind of be like, oh, I don't feel like this is home. Like, I want you
to have to go home. I have to go back to Guam and kiss my auntie.
Yeah. I don't that if that's weird to you, that I failed as a parent.
Yeah.
I want to go to this party and you just run off and do your own thing because you're so comfortable here.
Right.
That's I'll trade anything in the world for that.
That's part of that island culture there.
Yeah.
Whether it's Guam, whether it's Filipino, whether it's Chinese, Japanese, that's all the same. Oh.
Yeah, and that's something that I learned that I share with other people like that. It's just that for me, that's what's important to me. And
that's kind of tough though. Looking forward for you, if you decide to become start a family in the next 5 years, say find the love of your life now in the next year.
How do you figure that? I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about that.
How does it turn out with with the dreams and the goals and you wanting to come back? It's
and there's also like maybe I do live out there. We come back. Maybe I get so cool with Twitch they let me work remote.
Right.
There's
start a base in the Pacific region.
Something.
It seems like the gaming community is still growing here on Guam, and more people are doing it.
I don't know. Maybe that doesn't mean I have to live here, but it's just it's something that's so important to me.
Sure.
That has to, like I said, if my kids come home and they don't feel like they're home, I messed up somehow.
Yeah.
And also like, I think growing up on Guam is just. Dude, if you're in the States and you're like 14, and you have a smartphone and like a train card, bro, you can do anything. You can Uber anywhere. You can, with a train card and a dream, you can BART and Caltrain halfway across California. I guess what I'm saying is you can get into a lot of trouble. It would be really hard to
pull the mic up.
Yeah, you can get into a lot of trouble out there in the States as a youngin', but out here you don't have a car. How you can leave the house?
Right.
I'm not trying to be controlling. I'm just trying to be realistic in the sense that like. it takes a village to raise someone, right? And I trust our island to help raise my future family more than other communities.
Right.
The idea, it's so terrifying for
Your
me.
kid going to hang out at their friend's house 30 miles away, right?
Yeah. The idea for me that some people only ever know their nuclear family, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just not what I grew up with, and that blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like, you literally only know your mom, dad, and brother, and you've seen your cousins 4 times in your life. What? I see my cousins 4 times in a month. You know?
Yeah.
It just blows my mind. And I'm sure it could work if it had to happen, but if I can choose not to do that, I'd rather not to, you know? I guess it's getting a little corny, but like, you know, I started running out of dreams. One of my dreams that I still have is for my parents to see my grandkids, you know? I've had both of them longer than they've had both of their parents. Mm-hmm. My dad lost his dad at 10. My mom lost her dad at like 21.
Okay.
So I've had both of them longer than they've had both their parents. I try to remember that every day. And that would just be such a nice feeling, just to have that unit, you know? Just to experience that. But you know, like a good island boy, got to do it right. Right. Try. You got to try. You got to try to at least do it.
No. Guam style is kid first, marry second.
I didn't say anything, bro. Shout. Hey, you know what? I love a lot of those kids. You know. Yeah. So,
there's nothing wrong.
I think I was one of those kids too. Yeah. Standard.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what I'm saying. It's Guam culture.
Yeah. My mom's definitely like doing right. My dad's just like, hey, just give me my kid.
Hey man, we are at that age though, you know, and before, you know, when we were younger, my parents, they were like, don't you have any kids right now, you know? And now it's like,
okay.
So yeah, you know, you both have reached some certain success.
Great job, you know? Yeah.
We're glad your life is going okay.
Yeah, in fact, you might be having a little too much fun.
I know you like spending money on yourself.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, can you just give us some kids?
Maybe. Yeah.
I can't have kids myself. I would love to have kids in the house. You know, that's my parents right now.
Oh no, it's everyone. That's everyone's parents when we're 30.
If you're of the age of maybe 29, 28, and you're hitting 30 to mid 30s, and you still don't have kids, we're all going through the same exact thing.
It's dangerous though being an SF because it just kind of changes you kind of get a skewed version of the world because you're just hanging out with grown-up kids all the time. You know, we're all like 30, like late 20s, 30s, even early 40s. People are still just hanging out and partying like it's just no big deal. Yeah. And I'm, again, part of being self-aware, trying to look at that and be like, this is really fun, but is this the real world? It's kind of what I want to do.
Yeah.
Kind of, yes. Maybe for a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see how it happens, you know? We'll see.
Any side stuff that you're working on? You know, or building, stream. Are you still streaming much?
No, I don't stream at all. My thoughts on streaming is if I play video games at home, I'll stream, but I haven't been playing games. I've played enough games at work that I feel sad. My gaming itch is scratched. we play competitive Melee every lunch. We have actually a great fighting game scene at work. It kind of taught me that like fighting games in particular are kind of like a special breed because it's so dependent on low latency, like zero latency actually. It's all about communities, offline communities versus like, you know, Fortnite, this, that. You make a lot of friends online, you can play online, but you don't necessarily have to be together. Versus fighting games, you have to hang out in person. And there's a lot of fighting game players and Smash Bros. Players at Twitch. We all hang out at lunch and play games together. That's actually a lot of where my good friends have come from in the company. I've just been hanging out and playing with people. And I play Melee like 2 hours a day. Every day. So I'm like, yo, man, it's time to work out after work and just get some good sleep. You know, I played hella games today. I'm good. I came back to Guam. Actually, we don't need to go into this, but I just came back to Guam and I used to be one of the worst Melee players and now I'm pretty solid. I'm not the best at all, but I can actually have the Melee conversation versus that was one of the games before that was like a black mark on my record of I tried playing it and I never got to a level where I thought was good. I don't know if this is an interesting topic, but when I was younger, you know, we're all hot-headed. We're like just on fire, competitive. I wanted to be one of the best at every game I ever played. I want to be one of the best in the world. And now that I've competed, and then you've also wondered, how do I stack up against the rest of the world, right? Now that I've competed and traveled all across the world and played games with like pro players and hung out and met a bunch of people, I realized that the ceiling is so high to be one of the best because it's their jobs. These guys are pro players who are putting in 12 hours a day. And you got to do that, you got to do that just to keep up with them. And that's just unreasonable, right? That's unreasonable unless you're a fanatic or this is your job, right? So now my new goal with every game that I play, because I still love the games, I still want to play them. My new goal is just to get good enough that I can have a conversation with anybody at any level. Like if I go to play a pro, I don't gotta beat you, but this guy needs to be like, oh, hold on, dude, I can't talk. Like, oh, who are you? You know, like we could watch a match together and you would respect my opinion on it because you played me. And if people just treat you differently when you're actually good at something, you know?
Yeah.
You play somebody and they're not good, they'll be like, oh yeah, hey, it's nice to meet you, whatever. I'm gonna go talk with my good friends. The friends who actually know what to talk about. Yeah. You go in there, you take a round or two, you play, you hit them with something cool, you're like, oh, okay, who is this guy? Yeah. Oh, you work for Twitch? Okay. What's up, homie? You know, like, and then you actually can get a conversation started.
Yeah, that's Pete the button masher.
Sometimes you got mash. But yeah, that's my new thing with I think it's
what
a lot
about
of
commentary?
You know, so that's another thing with
Seems
commentary.
like you'll be a natural at it.
I think I think objectively I'm a solid commentator, a good commentator, but I learned that there's a lot more to commentating than just being a good commentator. You gotta grind, you gotta network, you gotta, finagle your way into these circles. You need to spend your weeks going to your local scene and putting your time in on the mic there. So that eventually when they have a major tournament in your region, you're already in and have reputations with the right people so they can put you on the stage there.
Yeah.
And then it's just a whole other grind. It's a whole other grind for not a lot of commentating opportunities. And there's already a ton of people trying to commentate. So it's something I actually would love to do, but in a way I see the path it would take to get there. And I'm like, it's not for me, I realize what it takes to get there, and it's just maybe not. I don't love whatever games are out right now. I don't love enough to do it for them, you know. There has to be that one game that's just like, man, this game is taking over my life. I'm addicted to it. Not even addicted. It's a beautiful game that's just really fun to play, and the matches that come out of it are great, and I want to talk about it all the time. I'm just not in that headspace anymore, and it took some maturity to be like, yeah, I guess that's not me right now. Maybe that's not me ever again.
Right.
We'll see.
It was just a part of the process.
It was a part of the process. And I almost hate to say it, but like that fire of building communities and competing and all that stuff, that got me to Twitch. And being a pro player is cool and all, but that's a very temporary lifestyle. And it's a very hard lifestyle, and only literally like 24 people can be a pro player, full-time player in fighting games. And the dream for those guys is to transition out into a more stable career. I got that. So I don't need that anymore, That's why I said it's like, I don't need to be the best in the world. I just need to be good enough that we're like, yo, I'm in the conversation. Like, not even in the conversation of being the best. I'm just in the conversation for like when you're watching a movie, like a boxing movie, and there's just that one dude in the crowd they always cut to, and he's like, oh my God, he did A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like only a really like distinguished veteran can see what I just saw. I want to be that guy. Yeah. Where it's like, did you see that? You're like, yeah, I saw that. everyone else the outside, what just happened? It's like, you don't even know. He did the stutter step. It was insane. It
did a quick low trip.
Yeah, it's just one of those things like, it takes like 2 years of playing just to even see what that guy just did. It would take me 10 minutes to break down how beautiful that interaction was.
It was in a 15 move sequence.
Yeah. Bro, that was
move number 8.5.
That guy was so many layers ahead of him. He just did the first layer. Insane. Insane. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much, I can't think of anything else I want to talk about.
Yeah, man. It's awesome. It just like I said, I even texted you it, just a pure admiration of what you've made come to fruition. And now that I'm hearing like the
what it took,
details of it, it's like, damn, dude, that's fucking awesome.
I came up with this quote when I was younger, and it's changed its meaning as I've grown, but it still works pretty well. And put this on my gravestone. What would make a better story? You know, before the what would make a better story is like, yeah, you party really hard, you know, and then but now it's like, you know, what make a better story that you, in the low point of your job searching career, you started working out more. You know, you kept your head up. You know, you still believed in yourself. You were patient. You know, that's a great story too.
Right.
Sometimes the great stories you hydrated all night. You know,
Yeah.
just I think I'm trying to write my book, right? Like in my own head of my life, and I just kind of I wanted to go the way I want to play the pieces I get as well as I can.
Yeah,
right?
man. It's all about legacy at this point, right? We realize in our 20s, like everything that we could do, it's doable.
It's doable. It's so
know?
doable. It's so
But
doable.
What legacy are you gonna leave behind? How are people gonna remember you?
Yeah.
You know?
How are people gonna remember you? And then are you proud of you know what you're leaving behind?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Like you said, regrets, dude. You know,
Yeah.
you either live with or you live without it. And it's likely better to live without regrets and just
And even if you have some, use them as like, you know, advice for like the way forward, right?
yeah.
Teaching.
I think you'd be really good at like speaking, public speaking, man.
A lot of people have said that. It's just one of those things where it's like, I hate public speakers who have no, like, okay, dude, you're a great motivational talker, but where's the stuff behind it? And personally, I just don't have enough. I need more feathers in the cap before I can be like that dude is like, hey, let me tell you how to live your life. I don't think I'm a great resource. You know, I think I can help. You know, like we could spitball some things, but I don't want to be that guy who's like, I got it all figured out, because I don't got it all figured out. I'm still just winging it. I just been, you know, figured out some things along the way.
Yeah. I think never know though. Could be in your wind.
Yeah. I'm definitely an old guy who's learned a couple things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess just thinking about the future, right? This is something that it's definitely, again, you're going to have to really look into and decide whether the dream stays the dream.
Actually,
right?
You want to know what my new dream is? Like what 40-year-old Pete, like off into the sunset? I've thought about this and it still hasn't changed. I want to be, again, I have a math degree, right? I want to be a professor at UOG, like a math professor, teaching the easy ass math courses. Hardest thing I teach is like calculus. I don't want to, because math is a muscle. So I'm going to have to relearn all this stuff too if I need to teach it. I don't want to really relearn a lot of higher level math. That stuff's really hard.
Yeah, it is.
So at most, I want to teach like pre-algebra, algebra 2, trig, calculus, you know, like the stuff that I can do. I can learn this stuff again in like 6 months. So I want to be that guy, the old ass math professor who like teaches math really well. But then there's also like, you kids don't even know how badass I was when I was younger. I want to be that guy. And then I also run like the UOG Jiu-Jitsu club. I basically, every hobby I have, UOG Jiu-Jitsu club. I don't know, UOG weight training club, whatever, you know, just my hobbies that I just do with with the students. And then, I don't know if I can say this part. And then also work for Twitch remotely, right? Like maybe it's not my full-time gig, but I can still do videos for them, like as like a side job.
Yeah. Now you're the freelancer.
Yeah. Not at the same volume as before, but like still work for Twitch. You know, maybe you guys fly me out for TwitchCon so I can shoot it every year. And then just regular family at home, bro. If I could be that guy, it's a pretty dope way to ride off into the sunset, in my opinion. You know,
Right.
That's kind of the. I just want to be like that character in the movie who's like the grizzled old coach. You know, who like you still respect his advice, kind of thing. Yeah, I want to be that guy in like the next 10 years. There's a couple more feathers in my cap, and I can be like, guys, what else can we say here?
Dude, 40, you're still young. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's still young. I don't know if you'd be considered the old guy just yet.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid time to like start the family, though. You know.
Whew.
Yeah, it's a little.
That's old, man.
That's me. You just flipped. I know. 30.
I did just flip.
You did. You just flipped, bro. Mid 30s. You know, that's when you really got to start.
I guess when you're putting it in a certain focus, right?
Yeah.
When you put age in a certain light, when it's starting family, it's like fuck, that's old. When you're wanting to get more education, furthering your education, like, no, you're still young, you know?
Yeah, bro.
You're never too old to learn.
Start at 40, you can be a lawyer at 45, you know? The world's your oyster.
But don't have kids.
I'm just, you know what? Fitness and health, it's a lifelong journey. And the fountain of youth is being in shape. And something that I think I want to say I have over other people, but there's a lot of people who they either naturally grew up as athletes or they just were always athletic and they've always just been that person. And I hella respect that. That wasn't the lifestyle I grew up with.
Yeah.
Every time I've ever been in shape, I had to choose to do it. I've lost weight 4 times, and like I've lost 30 pounds 4 times in my life, and it's just one of those things where the fact that I've had to earn it every time has taught me that it's effort. It's effort every day. You don't just naturally be that person.
Yeah.
Some people are naturally that person, and then when they have to actually start putting in effort, like when they have to get back to where they used to be, they just can't do it because it's like for my entire life it was easy and now it's hard. Versus like, dude, all I know is it being hard.
Right.
Yeah, all I know is killing myself to get it. So now that I know that it requires effort, putting in the effort isn't as scary because I'm like, dude, it's just part of the process, you know. And I say all that because it makes me more confident about like starting the family a little later. Because like, hey man, as long as you stay in shape, 40, you can really look like 30 still, you know.
That's true. I look like 20 still, so
yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. I've been going out. People thought I was 23. I ain't correct nobody. Thanks.
You're not wrong.
You ain't right. You ain't wrong. I don't know. We're having a good time.
Yeah. Well, age ain't nothing but a number. He's still young.
I'm just out here having a good time back home, guys. It's interesting.
Oh,
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it.
that's funny though.
I hope. Yeah. So in terms of like losing weight, I think everyone should find something sustainable.
Yeah.
Because before it was P90X, which is super high intensity training. Unless you're a monster, you can't do that every day for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And then jujitsu, and I love jujitsu. I'll be studying jujitsu for the rest of my life.
How long have you been doing it?
I did a hardcore for like 1.5 years, and then I've been doing it sparingly for like the past 4 years.
Okay.
So I would really say, truthfully, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for like 2 years.
Okay.
If you want to add up the time correctly.
Right.
But
I got into it earlier this year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love jiu-jitsu. I had the bug for like 1.5 years, like training 5-6 times a week.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. It's so cool. But you know what being a martial artist means? Dedicating yourself to it every day and getting beat up every day.
Yeah.
Having injuries.
When I first started getting into it, I was going once a week, and I was sitting there, and I was like, this ain't gonna fly.
Yeah.
This is something that needs to be a part of me.
Yeah.
And I have to allow it to become a part of me.
So how often, like, dude, tell me about your jiu-jitsu journey. I'd love to hear it.
Oh man, dude, it's so I actually started in 2018 for about 4 months.
Yeah, wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, 4 months, and then I quit to go study for my PE.
Okay.
So I spent the next 8 months studying for my PE, and I passed the exam in December, and then that following January I was like, if I pass this,
January
this year.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So consistently for this whole year I've been going, man, and it's I feel like it's changed my life.
It does
in a lot of
life.
ways, dude. Just realizing the things I'm capable of.
Yeah.
You know, and everything is a learning process.
Yeah.
The attention to detail that is required in movements, and the fact that, you know, if your knee is slightly this way, it's gonna change the way you're gonna move.
Yeah.
Right? And so
how little you know.
Yeah, man. And the more you know, really, the less you actually know, because there's so much. And not only knowing the jiu-jitsu game, but learning the different aspects of the game, and then now how to incorporate it into sport jiu-jitsu, right? And so I'm just like, oh, fuck, mind blown.
Yeah, I got to that point in jiu-jitsu where like, wow, this game is insane. And I have like my little tiny corner of it. And the fact that I can see the game, I'm happy. You know, like the fact that I can like play the game and I'm sort of in the conversation and I can tell what's going on. All passions, at some point you'll die out when you hit the level that you're like satisfied with. And I guess my bar of satisfaction of jiu-jitsu was a lot lower than like, you know, the people who are actually, I take it back. Everyone who's a higher belt jiu-jitsu is just someone who's stuck with it. Right.
Yeah.
And it'll always be there.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful part about I guess combat sports and jiu-jitsu. It's like the hardest part's starting. The hardest part's starting, the second hardest part's coming back.
Yeah.
And then once you just keep
and staying consistent.
and staying consistent, yeah. But once you crack that, like, oh, I don't want to grapple, I don't want to be on the ground, I don't want to touch someone. Once you get over that and you've tasted the game will always be with you. You cannot train forever. And as long as you don't have the ego of like, oh man, I'm scared to gas out. Like when we started the Twitch Jiu-Jitsu club at Twitch, I hadn't rolled in like 2 years, but I was down. Let's go. I'm so excited to be on the mats again. Tap me out, boys. Let's do this. Yeah. Because I just love being on the mats. I love the vibe. I love chilling and throw on some rap music and just vibe, you know?
For sure, man.
Yeah. And
yeah, it's changed my perspective.
Yeah.
You know, and whatever gym you train at, and I'm so grateful for the academy that I chosen.
Where you train?
Over at Figu.
Oh, Figu's. Oh,
yeah. Under Professor, Lewis and Elijah.
Yeah.
So
great community.
Yeah, man, and I was just so drawn into it, and it's really the people around you that keep you in a place, whether it be in a business, right?
Yeah.
You work
culture.
Yeah, culture. Right. So I like it. I think liking it is an understatement.
No, you love it.
I absolutely love it. I'm enamored by everything about it, man.
Yeah.
The science, just like applying my body into these situations, and now figuring out like, oh dang, my body can move like this.
Yeah.
All right.
Or bodies can move, or just bodies in general. Like, wow, that you did that and that happened.
Right.
How did you take the back from there?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu. It's giving me. It's one of those things where like.
And I'm only a year into this, dude.
Yeah.
I'm fucking just completely just mind blown.
And again, as someone who's still, I'm what they call like a dirty white belt, where like, you probably, I don't want to say too much. It'd be too much ego talking, but I would say that within the colored belts, from what I've learned, white belt, you're still just trying to survive. Blue belt, you can fight back. Purple belt, you've begun to understand what you're good at and you're developing your game. Brown belt, you know your game and you've learned how to cover up your weaknesses. And black belt, you know so much that you know nothing. You're just kind of back to square one of like, yo, here's the basis of everything, but we're all still learning together.
Right.
I think the thing that happened with me with jiu-jitsu was that I became friends with everybody. I'm in the group chats. I'm hanging out with everyone. And then I finally wasn't that dude who was just completely useless. Like, I could fight back. I knew what to do in positions. I'd gotten my first win, or like not in tournament. I've been in 2 tournaments. I got wrecked first round both times. Although I gotta say, first one was against my boy Rome Alvarez, who was 6-0 in MMA at the time when I rode with them. I was like, "Is he has a white belt? That's cool. That's cool." And the second one totally was fair. I just did not understand De La Riva. The guy pulled De La Riva on me and got a triangle like that. My fault. Didn't know the matchup.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, you were able to fight back. You're cool with everybody. You understand the game, and that was enough for me. Just to know that, like, okay, I understand this game now.
Yeah. I'm consistently staying curious.
That's good,
and that's fucking crazy, because not a lot of things that come my way, that I put myself into sticks with me like that. Like I get kind of good at certain things, and then it's just like, and try something else.
Yeah.
I've always been someone to just sort of dabble in everything.
Yeah.
And now this, like you said, man, I can see this. I can see, just like with the podcast, I can see jiu-jitsu in my life
forever.
For
yeah. I told
time, dude.
It's very interesting because Twitch, we roll once a week, and there's about, let's say there's like 30 of us, like, and then 10 to 12 of us know what we're doing. The other 10 to 20 are just coworkers who come every week, and they've been getting a lot better for people who only roll once a week. Some of them are even getting really good.
They're just training outside, Pete.
Huh?
They're just training outside.
No, they're not. One of the
secretly training.
Yeah.
Not telling you.
You know what? I'm proud of them if they are, because that means you got the bug. One dude canceled his gym membership to join a kickboxing and jiu-jitsu gym, and I'm like, yo, oos.
Right.
But what's it called? There's one girl. She was talking to me, and she's like, will this ever like die out for me? I'm like, yeah, you the fire, the motivation to go to the gym could come and go, but like now that you've gotten over the fear, I guess, of grappling, and you understand that it's just a game, and you've tasted the game, like that'll always be with you.
Yeah.
That'll always, you can't lose that once you've tasted it, because it's just different. It's unlike anything else you've ever done. combat sports are so unique because it's just so like direct. It's just so honest, you know?
Right. Yeah, there's no hiding.
Yeah.
You can say you're badass, and what you do on the mats
Yeah.
is gonna prove
Or,
exactly what you know.
or that guy can come in and be like, "Hey guys, what's up? He's the nicest guy ever." And he just whacks you. You're like, "Oh wow, that guy is insane," and he's so nice about it too. I didn't know badasses could be so nice.
Hey, dude, and that's what I realize is a lot of the upper belts, as they get higher in belt, in the academy, they're just extremely helpful and
trying to keep the culture alive,
and trying to like help you understand.
Yeah.
I'm a super unorthodox jiu-jitsu player, man.
How do you play?
I just don't do things normally. I've always been a sort of a goofy-footed person.
Okay.
So I had
see that. I had
to sort of
figure out what your goofy way.
Well, yeah, and fix certain things that would put me in bad positions. I was getting caught into in the face off. I would cross my legs. As we were going, we were getting ready to engage, right?
And it just destroys your base.
Right. So just a lot of different things, different movements like that I didn't realize that I do just naturally because I'm just naturally unorthodox.
Right?
Or it's just, or maybe just I'm ignorant.
You're just ignorant. Your body was telling you to do something that you didn't know was wrong.
Right.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I love jiu-jitsu. I think the core, again, this is a 2-year white belt talking, so don't take this too seriously. But I think the core of jiu-jitsu is like in every position, you just gotta have to have 2 things you need to do. That way you have a mix up, A or B. That way you're in this. Oh, I'm in this position. Okay, I'm doing this. Oh, this opens up this. So I'm going for this. Oh, he's covering this. I'm going back to this. A B. Okay, I'm back. I caught B. Now I'm in here. What's my A B here? A B. Oh, I caught A.
You play too many fighting games.
It's a fighting game
with AB buttons.
Jiu-jitsu is a fighting game, except the stamina bar is real. The stamina bar is your stamina for real. I'm not lying. Jiu-jitsu and fighting games. I'm so glad I got to jiu-jitsu after I was a competitive gamer because it taught me the perfect mindset to learn jiu-jitsu. Because if anyone wants to learn a fighting game, I'm like, bro, you better get ready to lose for like 6 months. Because that's the first step to fighting back is surviving.
Right.
So getting wrecked over and over in jiu-jitsu was no big deal to me because oh, this is standard. This is how you get good at things. You gotta get wrecked for a long time.
Right.
And then for me,
sometimes you leave with 1%. Sometimes you leave with 0.5%.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 0%.
And it taught me too. Like in fighting games, I try to teach people like don't chase wins. Just don't chase a win over somebody. Just chase little tiny victories. Like, oh, you finally got out of side control one time, You recovered guard from half guard. That's a dub, baby.
Yeah.
You were in mount and you got out of mount. Or
that guy that's been smashing you.
Yeah.
They didn't smash you today.
Or you were in mount and they couldn't finish you.
Yeah.
You were mounted and you just held them off for a little bit. That's a win. Right. Good job. Day 1, you would have got finished like that.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just little dubs, because it's all about perspective.
I like it. I like that we're having this conversation. A lot of the jiu-jitsu conversations that I've had, they're always with upper belts, purple, brown, black belts on the podcast at least. And I feel like this is very relatable at a white belt level, right? It's still mind blowing.
Those guys kind of they sort of forgot what it's like to be us, right?
But yeah, dude, I'm having so much fun with it, and I hope body ailments don't prevent me from being able to go on the mats. I enjoy that mat time, man.
I'm in no rush to get better. I just like playing it. I just like playing every week. Just playing a little bit every once or twice a week. I'm cool. Like keep my cardio up on the side, stay fit, but just and then just play the game. Like I don't know. That's kind of my approach to jiu-jitsu. I'm curious. I'm having fun with it, but I don't gotta kill myself to get there anymore. I'm just happy to be at the gym.
Yeah. My current general understanding of being able, knowing the moves that is you're in a straight line, you reach a stop sign, and there's 100 avenues, or maybe like 5 avenues.
Paradox of choice,
right?
Yeah.
But because you're a white belt, these are really blurry avenues.
Yeah,
you can't really see them yet. Maybe there's fog. Maybe it's a rain. Heavy rain, and you can't drive down there yet.
Yeah,
you don't have windshield wipers.
You ain't ready for it. Yeah,
you don't have the fog lights for it. But once you get your fog lights, once you get your windshield wipers, now you're driving down those avenues and being able to push yourself through the bumpy road or the wet roads.
It's also not a bad idea to throw yourself down those other paths because you need to get caught by something 1,000 times before
It's very true.
before you can start stopping it. And there's 10,000 things you need to get caught 1,000 times by.
Yeah.
So it's just no big deal. Just explore, you know, explore, get tapped, move on. People really expect somebody who's just down, you know, like get tapped 4 times, you still coming back? Like, us, bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm that dude, and I roll with those dudes. Like, I love you got the right attitude, you know?
Yeah.
No.
Cool, man. Matt, how long have we been going here?
It's like 3 hours, bro. We've been killing it.
An hour and 44.
Ooh.
Nice. Bro, I enjoyed this, dude.
Thank you so much.
Dude,
bro.
I'm glad you made some time, to come talk on the podcast. When do you leave exactly?
I leave this Sunday.
Okay.
And it's been awesome. It's been like 2 weeks of being home, but trying to make months worth of memories. You know, hang out with everybody, see everybody.
Have you been successful in doing that? Because man, I remember that being the hardest thing to do. It's like, yeah, man, I'll check you. Damn.
Even if I don't, I mean,
Never check this guy out.
I'm not gonna do it all, but
So I'm glad you made time for me.
I'm saying, bro.
Bro, I really fucking appreciate that.
You know, you'll never do it all, but you can do what you can, and that's all you can do.
Wise words.
Oh, guy. So I think that's it, bro.
Yeah, dude. Anything you want to put out there? People follow you or
I'm GG on everything. Follow me on whatever platforms you think is cool. And I don't know. Life is a journey. Take it at your own pace. Don't be too mad if you're not where you're at, because you can get where you want to be, and even where you want to be might not be where you think you should be, you know? Don't stress. Just do your best and forget the rest. P90X Tony Horton. So corny, but it's the truth, bro. I hate that guy. I hate that guy because he's so corny, but a lot of things he says is right.
Thank you,
All right.
bro.
Wait, that's my 10. That was disrespectful. Boom.
Okay. Appreciate you. And let's do it again next time you're back. Do you foresee when you're gonna come back?
Oh, bro, I'll be home every Christmas. Yeah. I can't. It's just part of who I am. Yeah.
Okay. Well, next Christmas we'll talk.
Well, so I hope I have.
Or if I'm out there in the Bay, I'll definitely
hit me
hit
up.
you up.
You got, you couch, both of you. I have a couch bed with your name on it. Yeah, for sure.
We've been dabbling with the idea of a podcast tour.
That'd be really
But
dope.
that'll be something that you really have to plan out.
You have to plan out, but there are so many really interesting islanders to talk to.
Yeah.
You know, the Shans.
Did I accidentally share that? Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
alert.
Nice.
But
I'm hyped.
But yeah, dude. I mean, that'll be something cool, evolutionary for this podcast. Just trying to evolve, man. I think, and that was for episode 200. I did a live show.
No way. How'd that go?
Dude. So I bought 100 headphones.
Where was it at?
And I had a silent disco live show.
Oh my god.
So I did a live podcast with the DJs, RJ Uggan, Uga, and Ronnie Perez.
By the way, RJ, one of the greatest
drummers,
of course. That's a given if you're from Guam. But as a music producer, that guy has such a dope ass sound.
Oh man,
yeah, so unique.
That lo-fi sound, dude. It's
So he kills it.
So I had them on the podcast. We talked for about an hour, a little bit over an hour, Matt.
Yeah.
And then after that, everyone's wearing the headphones in the bar, and then after that, they went and played at the same time, and you can switch between the channels,
so
silent
cool.
disco style.
So cool.
So,
what? That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was episode 200.
Congrats, bro.
Yeah.
When was that?
That was in August.
Nice, man.
Yeah, so that was sort of the evolution of the podcast, and I hope to do at least a couple live shows, this coming year. So,
yeah, you just need the right. You need the right people.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
4 years of doing this, and
dude,
it's
you really find out what your passions are when the things just stick with you, when you can't stop doing them.
Yeah, man. We haven't done a podcast since October.
Damn, you guys cracked the seal for your boy.
We actually cracked the seal yesterday, 2 days ago with Regine Tugati,
who I don't know.
She's a runner.
Dang.
For the Naval Academy.
Wow.
Yeah, so It was supposed to be you, but
No.
she left on Monday,
Yeah.
and or she left today, so we did it on Saturday.
Okay.
So-
Listen, I want to learn more about her.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool conversation, but you still cracked the seal. You cracked the other side of the seal. You know, we opened the milk carton,
Yeah.
and the thing didn't fully come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the
Now it's just
the other
flowing.
finger to. How we're gonna be fucking flowing.
Sick. 2020, baby.
Yeah, so this will drop in 2020. So
Dope.
I appreciate you, my man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Let's do it again. And once again, thank you everybody for joining us on another episode of the podcast. Mr. Peter Quiambao. Until next time, I'm excited to see his evolution in the next year.
I'm trying to see what else could I do. That's what I'm thinking. Like, yeah, man, what else could I? We'll see.
We'll see.
I'll do my best.
To be continued, right?
Yeah.
TBC. Until next time, peace out. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. What a treat, right? Did you listen to the last episode first? If you didn't, you should. You should still. I can't say exactly for sure what episode it is, but it's in the 100s. I can guarantee you that. Thank you so much. Shout out to the sponsor, Payless One. They are your one-stop shop for organic and natural products and education. Go check them out from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily next to the Dededo Payless. Support us on Patreon. Working things to get Patreon going much better, and it's slowly coming together. Don't forget to leave a rating and review on the Apple Podcast app. Those things always help. We'll read the review. Maddie will read the review when the review comes in. And listen to us on Spotify. We're there. Spotify is the new podcast destination listening platform. So go ahead and do that. And other than that, go take care of each other and be kind. See ya.